What's going on, guys? It's Dave again. I'm back today doing a build for my friend GiveMeCaffeine. She's a streamer out west who desperately needs a new computer to game and stream at the same time. So I got her an Asus ROG Strix B550 motherboard. We're going to use an AMD Ryzen 5900X CPU. To cool that, I got a Corsair H150i Elite LCD Radiator. We're going to use an nVidia 3060 Ti Founders Edition graphics card. I got 32 gigs of DDR4 running at 3600 megahertz. We're going to use a 2TB Samsung 980 Pro M.2 for storage. For some extra RGB at her request, we're going to use some extra ML120 Elite fans that I had laying around. And to power it all, I got a Corsair RM750 power supply, and we're going to shove all of that within a Lian Lancool 2 mesh case, and I'm pretty excited about this build. So let's dive in and let's build. Off the start, I will go ahead and get the Asus ROG Strix B550 motherboard installed. For those wondering why I did not go with an X570 motherboard, that simply came down to the budget. For storage, Caffeine wanted something fast with tons of space to hold her videos on. A 2TB Samsung 980 Pro drive should be more than enough storage for her, and it will definitely be plenty fast for the video games she plays and when she is working on videos. Since Caffeine is going to be streaming and gaming at the same time, the 5900X should provide her plenty of power. Using OBS, the video game, and Discord, she should not see any crazy hit to her FPS on the games that she's going to be playing. Caffeine's only request was to have the lighting be set to purple. Finding the right color purple was hard enough, but also making sure there was enough lighting to please her was a different story entirely. Normally, I would go with a 32 gig kit that is two 16 gigabyte sticks. With this build, it actually turned out to be cheaper to get two kits of two 8 gig sticks and fill all the RAM slots. At least with this setup, she will still get the 32 gigabytes of RAM that she wanted, and she will also get as much purple lighting as possible. A quick side note, get the CPU power cables plugged in now if you do not want to struggle getting them in later. Once you mount fans or a radiator to the top, depending on your case, it can be borderline impossible without having to remove whatever is mounted at the top to get those cables plugged in. Because of how hot CPUs run now, especially in the higher end SKUs, a 360mm radiator is definitely a solid choice for the 5900X. Lian makes it easy with the front bracket to mount the radiator, and this is a good case if you wanted to run fans on both sides of the radiator. Corsair no longer utilizes the plastic hook mounts and now uses standoff screws that go in place of the screws that hold the plastic hook mounts down. Once those were in, I removed the stock thermal paste on the Corsair pump and applied some Thermal Grizzly Cryo Knot to the CPU. I then got the pump mounted on the CPU and got the thumb screws tightened down until they were snug. The last thing to do was to get the 3060 Ti Founders card installed, get everything plugged in, and finish the wiring. And finally, we are done. This was by far my favorite build to do this year. I love how it turned out. Though I'm not the biggest fan of purple, I can confirm that Caffeine was ecstatic once she got it out of the box and got it all hooked up and turned it on for the first time. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.